for the official start time here. And so with that, our chair, Mayor Shannon Glover, could not be with us today. So he has passed the gavel to me to keep the meeting orderly and moving along, get us out here at a reasonable time. So look forward to all of the discussions today. And if I could ask if there are any first-time visitors here, would you raise your hand and so that I can allow you to introduce yourself? Any first-time visitors? Okay, over here, Rob.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Rob Coleman, Newport News City Council.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Bill Webb, Assistant County Administrator for Isle of Wight.
Okay, thank you. I could not see your name from here, so thank you. Any other visitors or first-time attendees to the meeting today? Okay, thank you. So with that, we are going to invite President of Christopher Newport University, President William Kelly is here. We're here on the beautiful campus of Christopher Newport, and we appreciate his hospitality today. And so I'm going to allow him to officially welcome you to the college campus.
Afternoon. It looks like you've been well fed. We like to do that here at Christopher Newport University. We want to make sure everybody's well fed. Mayor, thank you for the introduction. And if we could just take a moment, we have a lot of folks that are making today happen, both on our staff and the staffs of all of you great folks. Can we just give them a round of applause, both in the room and out of the room? So I would, and Chip, I'd be remiss if I didn't thank Dr. Chip Filer. He's, I know many of you in the room know Chip, and the comments have been, Chip, you look younger. Your hair's not as gray and you're not as hunched over. So it's like, I guess that's a good sign that you're with us, Chip. But thank you for your help and support today. So thank you, Executive Director Crum, for coordinating today's event on our campus. It's truly an honor to host leaders from across Hampton Roads. And we're especially grateful to welcome distinguished alum, Delegate Ward, ma'am, thank you for sticking around to hear your president share a couple words. And Mayor Pons, where you at, Mayor? You're back home. Mayor, it's great to have you back. These are captains for life. If there's other captains for life in the room, I apologize. I don't have you in my remarks, but it's always great to welcome our alumni back home. I'd also like to welcome Dr. Ella Ward. Dr. Ward, I haven't had a chance to see you yet today. Dr. Ward, thank you for being here, a former member of our Board of Visitors. Thank you for everything you do. And to all the mayors and elected officials in the room, welcome again. It's truly a privilege to have so many of our region's elected officials and community partners gathered today. And thank you for the opportunity to welcome you to share a bit of good news about your hometown university. Now, I know some of you in the room, but I don't know all of you in the room. So my name is Bill Kelly. I'm the 6th president here at Christopher Newport University. I took over on July 1st, 2023. I retired after 36 years in the United States military on June 30th, 2023. My retirement was a wonderful evening. My wife and I went out for dinner, and then we started work the next day. My last tour of duty in the United States Coast Guard was as the superintendent of the United States Coast Guard Academy up in New London, Connecticut. I had the privilege of retiring as a 2-star admiral. And my wife, Angie, and I have been adopted back into a community that we lived in from 91 to 94 when I was stationed at Training Center Yorktown up in Yorktown. So we are grateful to be back home. And our son was actually, first son was born right across the street at Riverside. So this is somewhat of a homecoming for us as we start year 3. We are blessed to be here, and it's great to be able to walk into a room like this and know some of the faces and many of the names, and so thank you for welcoming me. You know, CNU is the #1 regional public university in the state of Virginia, and we're the #3 regional public in the South. But more importantly, for this audience, we are a regional public university. We're dedicated to serving the communities, families, employers, and localities of Hampton Roads. This is our mission, and we are embracing it. Earlier this year, with input from over 200 members of our faculty, staff, students, alumni, and community members, we developed our strategic compass, our strategic plan. And it has 4 main priorities. First and foremost, to advance the power and promise of the liberal arts. Second, to connect with our community. Third, to create a culture of inclusion and belonging on our campus. And 4, to build a foundation to thrive. And what I'd like to do for just a moment this morning, and I think I'm going to have an opportunity to take a question or two, is I'd like to take a moment and comment on our efforts to connect with our community, because I think it's essential to our identity as a regional public and Hampton Roads Hometown University. This fall, CNU grew for the first time in 9 years. We welcomed our largest class of transfer students, thanks in part to new partnerships with the local community colleges, not only here in the Hampton Roads region, but literally across the state. And applications for the fall are already 25% ahead of our record-breaking number we had last year. Most importantly, we are strengthening our ties with the schools across the region. With the help of Mayor Gray and Hampton City School Superintendent Dr. Raymond Haynes, a proud CNU alumnus, the number of Hampton City high school students that matriculated to CNU grew by 50% last year. So we're clearly making our inroads in Hampton City. More Newport News students are enrolling at CNU than ever before. And just recently, Newport News Public Schools offered every single graduate of our Masters of Arts in Teaching a classroom position upon graduation. And we're looking to create the same success on the South Side. After a great conversation with Mayor Dyer, we connected with Virginia Beach Superintendent Dr. Don Robinson, who has already begun to help us expand our connections on the South Side. Mayor, we're grateful for those conversations. We love our students from Northern Virginia and the Richmond suburbs, but every young person in Hampton Roads should know that CNU is their university and that they are welcomed here. In order to truly be the hometown university, students need to be able to see themselves on our campus. So our vision is bold. We believe we can be the most inclusive university in the state of Virginia. And my military service, my 36 years in uniform, taught me that the strongest units, the best units, are the ones that perform and innovate and succeed are those where everyone feels valued and included. And that is the culture we are building here at CNU. And it's essential to serve this region. As we serve the region, we are aligning our academic programs with the needs of employers across the Hampton Roads region and the people who live here. In partnership with Riverside College of Health Sciences, we launched a new nursing program to help address the critical shortage of nurses. And just 8 short months, we are already exceeding enrollment expectations. We hope to get 30 students. We had 62 enroll. We also brought back our elementary education program to meet the region's demands for exceptional new teachers. The interest is incredibly strong, and our graduates, as I mentioned earlier, will be making an impact across the region. We have Army ROTC on campus, and we just launched Navy ROTC. We are expanding our services to military veterans. You know that many of them, when they get out of service, choose to live in this wonderful region. And we were recently ranked by U.S. News & World Report as the #1 college in Virginia for military veterans, something I am very proud of. Finally, in January, we will cut the ribbon on our new 83,000 square foot Science and Engineering Research Center. This state-of-the-art facility features a 2-story drone lab, maker spaces and machine shops, a kinesiology lab, and advanced engineering and research spaces that I am confident will be a game changer for the region. We recently hosted the president of the Virginia Tech Foundation for a hard hat tour of the building. She remarked, somewhat sheepishly I will say, that our drone lab surpasses anything that they had at Virginia Tech. And I asked her, I said, can I quote you on that? And she said, yeah, I guess you have to. So I'm going to quote her on that. CNU is a regional destination, and I hope you will take advantage of the many opportunities right here on our amazing campus. From world-class performances at the Ferguson Center for the Arts and the exhibitions that we have at the Torgler Fine Arts Center to our nationally recognized athletic programs. As we speak, our women's volleyball team is over at Virginia Wesleyan. They were up 1-0 when I walked in. Our women's field hockey team is in Hartford, Connecticut right now, preparing for the field hockey national championships. We are ranked #1 in the nation, 19-0. And on November 29th, our 4th-ranked football team will be hosting the second round game here, right here. We're not sure who we're playing yet, but we know we're playing. And so all of these things take place on our wonderful campus, and we want to make sure that we share them with our region. So in closing, it is a great time to be a captain. Thank you again for joining us today. Thank you again for the opportunity to host. Your leadership across Hampton Roads truly matters, and we welcome you to Christopher Newport University. And as always, go Captains.
Thank you, President Kelly. Are there any questions for President Kelly? Okay.
Mr. Chairman, may I ask a quick one of the president? President, you had talked about your growth. Can you talk about your current enrollment and maybe where you see that trending over the next 10 years?
Sure. So for those folks who are in secondary education or associated with higher education, you know that we talk about the demographic cliff. There are fewer and fewer high school students. There are fewer high school students that are choosing to go off to college. So the demographic cliff is real. It's real in Virginia, and it's real in the states around Virginia who are looking to Virginia to, I will say, attract as many of our great students to their universities up and down the East Coast and literally across the nation. So we are at 4,500 students right now. That's the first time we've grown. When I said 9 years, it's the first time we've seen our enrollment actually go up since our high just prior, 9 years ago. We are a resource for 5,000 students on campus. I would love to get back to that number. It will take a different approach, and I think it takes an approach that really focuses on those students in the Hampton Roads region who don't have to drive up 64 to go past us to go to great universities like VCU or stay on the south side and go to ODU. Let's make sure that they know that Hampton Roads region has a hometown university right here on our campus. We just want to make sure that we get the word out, and I really appreciate the support that we've received from so many to share the good news about this wonderful university.
Okay. Other questions for President Kelly? Okay, I don't see any. And
All right.
Mr.
I know you have a lot
President?
of business to get to, so I appreciate again the opportunity to share some good news about CNU.
All right, thank you
Thank you.
for hosting our meeting today. I'm going to take one item out of order on the agenda and move to the approval of a modified agenda. So I'm going to ask the executive director to explain that change.
Yes, and if I may, President Kelly, if we could trouble you to hang with us just another moment. I'd like to propose two minor changes to today's agenda order. First, on our consent agenda, we want to remove attachment B as in Bob 1. And if with that removal of that item, we can go ahead when the time comes and approve that consent agenda. Secondly, with the chair and the commission's patience, I would ask that we move our Community Advisory Committee report up to the next item on the agenda. And there's a quick reason why. Ms. Lauren Carter, our chair of our Community Advisory Committee, is leading this effort called Start in Hampton Roads. And President Kelly, one of your students needs to get to class pretty quickly, but we would love that person to be in the room when Ms. Carter provides the report. So thank you. A motion, a second, an action to approve those modifications would be appropriate.
Okay.
Hippel, motion.
All right. Who, Mr. Hippel and Bobby Dyer had the second. All right, any discussion on the agenda? All right, all in favor say aye. Any opposed, nay? All right, the modified agenda is approved. And so with that, we will move item 6 up and introduce report from our Community Advisory Committee.
Thank you. Thank you all for your flexibility. I greatly appreciate it. My name is Lauren Roberts Carter. I have the honor of serving as the Vice President of Marketing Communications for the Hampton Roads Chamber. And I'm here on behalf of Start in Hampton Roads, and I'm very excited to share with you our CNU Watson Scholar, Carter Workman, who has been integral in helping us get the newsletter for the Start in Hampton Roads initiative off the ground. So I thank you very much, Carter, for being part of this initiative, this regional opportunity that we have here in front of you. And thank you so much to CNU for allowing us to use one of your students as an intern. And now he has to go to class. Thank you. All right, and now I have the honor to share with you a really, truly a regional initiative. Many of you have heard this, and I thank you for your patience in hearing it again. We are very excited, though, to come to you today with data, with really tremendous data that we have been able to put together in the last 3 months. So Start in Hampton Roads is a regional initiative. It is a talent attraction and retention project. We kicked it off on August 1 with paid and earned media with DCI in partnership with VEDP. As I mentioned, this is a regional initiative that has had many, many stakeholders, including many of you in the room, and we greatly appreciate it. We are excited to share with you that through our efforts, you'll see on your data that you have in front of you, it's actually even higher than what you see on the screen, but we have reached 1.6 million impressions, meaning those are eyeballs that have been on our content over the last, 3 months. So one thing that this tells us is that there is tremendous interest in Hampton Roads from many of our target markets and beyond. We have been very intentional in who we are targeting for this initiative from the perspective of attraction and, of course, retention and keeping our individuals here in Hampton Roads. So looking at this funnel here of information, and again, you have this in front of you to look over as you have more time. But again, it does say that we have interest in this initiative to retain and attract talent. Another key piece of this initiative is looking at the top performing industries. We are excited to share with you that, probably to no surprise, cybersecurity, energy, engineering, maritime have been some of the top industries that job seekers are seeing throughout our paid and earned media campaigns. That means that they are coming to our landing page. It's an intentional landing page, just a page full of information with the hopes of building out a full-fledged website down the road. But they are able to see the types of information and jobs that we have here in the region. So tremendous interest there as well. And then if you look here, you'll see some of our target markets, the states and the cities that we've been able to reach. This target market has been done through DCI, the Talent and Economic Development Marketing Agency. They are targeting these markets because they know that these individuals are coming to this region for many factors, such as quality of life and affordability being two of the main things. So we're very excited to share with you that we have hit these target markets, and we've also hit some of our competitive markets, such as the Charlotte and the Raleigh-Durham areas that we often do lose our talent to as well. And then another key piece of this is looking at our keywords. You have even more of those in front of you. But if you take a moment and look here, we are seeing that individuals are searching for jobs in Virginia. They're searching for jobs in Virginia as a whole, and they're even searching for jobs further down and breaking it down by city. You see there's the second one, jobs in Virginia Beach, had quite a number of impressions. So again, the interest is there. We are getting more than 900 leads from this campaign. These are individuals that want to bring their talent and expertise to Hampton Roads. And so come December 31st, it is our time to take that information and really turn that into something extraordinary for our opportunities from a talent perspective. So again, I encourage you please to take a look at the information that you have in front of you from a data perspective. Again, this is a regional initiative. There has been so many people that have been part of this, and we really couldn't truly do it without everyone that has been a part of it. So again, thank you for your very brief time today, and please reach out with questions and opportunity to support as we move this into the next stage. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Any questions for Ms. Carter?
Mr. Chairman, if I may, Lauren, where are most of the people living that are checking out Hampton Roads? Are there any trends in terms of geographic areas that appear to be interested in us? I did not know you had that slide, so
Okay.
we didn't coordinate this.
Yes, no, great question though. So if you look at those top metros, the reason you're seeing some of these cities flag like New York City, DC, and even some of those California cities is because DCI is helping us market to them, specifically from the standpoint of quality of life and our affordability. Many of these cities have a high cost of living, but some of them have some very similar assets to us. So what we're able to do is promote the assets that we have here in Hampton Roads, but we're able to say that we have a much more affordable ability to live here in Hampton Roads as compared to many of these other cities. There is far more data than even what you're seeing here on the screen or even in front of you. And as I mentioned, some cities like Charlotte, Raleigh, and so on are really being targeted and showing the interest in us.
Okay. Any other questions for Ms. Carter? Okay, thank you. Great report, really great information that all of us can use. We're preparing our cities for those who move here and want to live and work and raise a family in Hampton Roads region. So thank you so much for that. Okay, so we will get back to order of our agenda. So our next report is unveiling Black history in Hampton Roads, Dr. Amelia Ross Hammond. Welcome.
Welcome, commissioners, and thank you for giving me this opportunity to share this. Each of you should have a booklet, which is up on the screen, and I just want to give you a tiny history. As some of you may or may not know, I'm founder and chairman of the Virginia African American Culture Center, which we're looking at not only as regional, but one day all the way statewide. And we have been given some funds through the General Assembly to help us in this process. Meanwhile, thanks to the Hampton Roads Chamber of Commerce, I went with them on the trip in 2023. We went to Charleston, South Carolina. As you know, at that time, they also were doing the International African American History Museum. And during that time, one of the things that's important about these special leadership exchange is getting to interact and talk with others. So during that journey, that was about May of 2023, there were about 80 of us there. And I was able to meet Kurt Krause, who was former president and CEO of Visit Norfolk, and former president of the Virginia Travels Association. And the two of us started sharing ideas, especially we noticed how many regional programs were going there. What could we do for our Hampton Roads? And so combining our passion for history and culture by discussing, we brought up a bold idea to life, a single accessible guidebook that could connect travelers to the rich African American heritage of Hampton Roads. And this is one of the beginnings, so there will be more to continue. Two of the goals for the VAACC is to share the essential roles African American culture play in the history of our region and to build partnerships with African American historic sites and culture centers across the Commonwealth of local and tourism to learn, explore, and provide experiential learning opportunities. What happened that began as a conversation quickly grew into a regional movement, uniting 9 municipalities around a shared vision to honor history, celebrate resilience, and welcome visitors to explore. The project gained momentum through the committed collaboration of local governments, tourism partners, historians, and cultural organizations. Together, they identified the stories, landmarks, and experiences that most vividly convey the region's role in shaping African American history, from the first African arrivals at Fort Monroe in 1619 on to the triumph of the Civil Rights era and beyond. We want to mention that the VAACC provided the initial grant funds for us to put together like a pilot project brochure, which we took over to the General Assembly, and it received statewide recognition, and we were granted, I think, $100,000 to get this started. And this guidebook, as we mentioned to you, and if you look on the first part of the book, the first page, we mentioned several things to you there that I will quickly share. Each city in Hampton Roads carries stories of both struggles and triumph. Hampton's Fort Monroe, where those first Africans arrived, later became known as Freedom Fortress. During the Civil War, we have Williamsburg, historic First Baptist Church, founded in 1776 by enslaved and free African Americans. It continues to stand as a testimony to spiritual resistance and perseverance. Norfolk's role in the Underground Railroad and the courageous Norfolk 17, who integrated its schools, Portsmouth Emmanuel AME Church, Newport News Newsom House Museum, and in Virginia Beach, we have the First Landing State Park. In Chesapeake, we have Chesapeake Unknown Afro-Union Civil War soldiers. In Belmont Plantation in Southampton County, and in Smithfield Schoolhouse Museum, in Isle of Wight, and I can continue. In fact, I was in Suffolk not too long ago where they were renovating the first African-American owned bank. So there's lots more. that is continuing, including now, I'm sure you've heard, for Chesapeake, they have the Cornland School, and later on, they plan to have a whole African-American village. So I'm looking at this opportunity that we can all get involved and have something that's a regional boost around history and culture. Now, I'm going to ask who has my little, if you can move it. Okay, this shows here the Atlantic Ocean and shows you exactly how the map is going to go. And since Kurt had worked with me, I asked him to come and kind of go over that 1 and 2 day itinerary.
Thanks, Amelia. So it's good to be back and see a number of familiar faces. Thank you for allowing me to join you. Our 2-day suggested itinerary is by no means a complete collection of the region's robust African-American historic locations or stories, but it does provide a wonderful beginning to an experience that will transform visitors and residents' understanding of American history. All of our visitor centers had information on the African-American heritage in their locality, but only in their locality. However, the visitor does not recognize boundaries. They may know the Portsmouth Emmanuel AME Church, but they may have no clue of the stories behind St. Mary's Basilica, which is just a short water taxi across the Elizabeth River. Our intent was to create a travel guide of significant and educational sites in Hampton Roads. What you have in front of you is our first attempt to create a collection of those sites and inspire curiosity in our history, as well as a platform for future editions. Day 1 begins in Hampton and concludes in Williamsburg. Hampton University Museum is the oldest African-American museum in the United States. There is the Downing Gross Cultural Arts Center, which represents the evolution of African-American cultural life in Newport News. Colonial Williamsburg's African-American Interpretation Program brings to life the stories of both free and enslaved residents, who made up more than half of the colonial capital's population. Day 2 is really themed about the Underground Railroad. You can see from the Great Dismal Swamp highlighted by the Underground Railroad Education Pavilion to the Portsmouth Self-Guided Underground Railroad Tour of Portsmouth, and concluding with Norfolk's Waterways to Freedom Self-Guided Tour. I will tell you that also in this book, because we didn't want it just to be a 2-day adventure, we want people to come back. We have more story stops with QR codes. And the intent with the QR codes was to, one, track the data to see how many people are looking, but it goes directly to a website. And in most situations, it's a website on African-American experience.
Okay.
I'd like to also thank, so here you are. Thank you, Amelia. Does it show? No, it doesn't show. So here are the QR codes that we have that goes straight to the sites. We are very grateful to have a moment of your time to share this epic story. I'm also very grateful and would like to express thanks to each of the municipalities that are here because you invested in this project. Also to Delegate Askew and to Senator Lucas and our entire Hampton Roads General Assembly caucus. They voted unanimously to support this with a budget amendment that gave us the $100,000 that Amelia just referenced. Without your support, without their support, funding through this budget amendment, this project would not have been possible. We have 50,000 copies that we have to distribute. I'm not sure how long that's going to last. I'm hoping shortly, but then we need more money to go print the second and the third edition. I know that I've had conversations with a few of you that why wasn't such and such in our book? Well, we worked with each of the destination marketing organizations to give us what their best 5 sites were. And if they didn't come up with 5, we put in what they had. So not that I'm apologizing for anything that we've done, because I think what we've produced is fantastic. We may have missed some sites, and that's the reason that we want to say to be continued. So we work with all the cities to say, here's the history that we have. I'm very grateful for Amelia and her ability to get us in through doors, but we now have the ability to continue that relationship with our delegation in Richmond. To be continued, I hope.
Yes.
Thank
And
you,
as you
Amelia.
can see, thank you, Kurt. These places remind us that history isn't simply a collection of dates and facts. It's a living legacy that continues to shape our future. The descendants of William Tucker still gather at the family cemetery in Hampton. The waters of the Elizabeth River that once carried freedom seekers now carry new generations to horizons of possibility. We hope this journey has deepened your understanding of Hampton Road's central role in African American history and can inspire reflections, conversation, and actions as we work to tell our regional story. This is like a kickoff that if we all get together, we actually have put together 137 sites. So this is just the cream of the crop, but getting more of your city managers, of your tourist groups, and the mayors, we can have something just like we went over to Charleston, South Carolina. They even had desserts made from the indigenous African Americans that came over. They had baskets, and that reflected all across that area. We can do the same because we have the power to do it. And I'm going to challenge you today. Send us more information. You have our number. And especially, I want to thank our mayor, Bobby Dyer, our city manager, who have worked with us behind some of this. The city has given us 4.83 acres land to one day put up our own Virginia African Culture Center that will be a hub that reaches out to all the different cities, that people can stop there, go to the resource library, pull up this, and who knows, we will one day have the virtual reality set up. So thank you all so much for your time. I hope if you have any questions.
Amelia, can I make one more last comment, if I may?
Okay,
And
Mr.
we
Krause.
talked about it from the Chamber's perspective on economic development. From a tourism perspective, it's all about the visit. How many times have we all gone to another city and said, I can see myself living here? The more attractions that we have, the more curiosity that we can inspire to drive people here, may be that next person to come live here, work here, bring a business here. So trust me, it's all about the visit. Thanks.
Thank you.
So, any other questions? Dr. Ward?
Good afternoon. Thank you so very much, and thank you, Dr. Amelia Ross Hammond, and all at the Chamber. I just want to thank you for recognizing us. And you're talking about tourism. It is so important. So we're hoping that there will be, I know we are included in the book, but to be included on the stops. We had an event last year at the Cornell School, and some of the relatives of students, former students, were celebrating her 95th year birthday. But it just so happened that they looked up and they were flying from California for her birthday celebration, and they saw that a place to visit in Hampton Roads on the Delta Airlines flight. It's at Cornell School, and they were just excited and showed a picture of the school up there. It's a place to visit when you come to Hampton Roads. So I do want to thank you for the inclusion, and hopefully maybe do another production that Cornell may be on that one of those stops. Thank you so very much. I appreciate that.
And thank you, Dr. Ella Ward, because you are one person that came out to Virginia Beach. When we had you setting up the Cornland, we said, we have the Pleasant Ridge School. And you brought a whole busload to see that, and that helped. And this is what we have to work together, not against each other, but bring things to the table and make Hampton Roads the best it can be. Thank you.
And thank you.
Hold on. Commissioner Hippel.
Thank you. One thing that I noticed on here on page 24, it says Williamsburg. That should be James City County. And that's all in James City County. And I think it's a great book. And we've got a lot more sites there as well. So we'd love for you to come up and visit us.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
We already have these I-95, 85 coming in from North Carolina, and we want to put out another good thing. We will definitely forget that James City.
Thank you.
Other questions or comments for Dr. Ross Hammond? Thank you for that. And Dr. Ross Hammond, I know this project with the African American Cultural Center as well as this trail guide has been a labor of love for you. You put a lot of time and effort into it. And I really like the way that you identify the key sites in each city, but there's a QR code that you can look at and kind of takes you deeper into other sites to visit within each community. So very, I can tell a lot of thought went into making this a very informative guide. So great job on that.
Thank you so much.
Okay. All right, back to the agenda. Then we have as public comment is the next item on the agenda. There are no submitted public comments, but are there any requests for public comments from the audience? I can't see anybody. Okay. All right, so there being none, we'll close the public comment period, and I'll move on to agenda item number 5, which is the executive director's report. Mr. Crum?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Commission members, my regular report was included in your agenda package for review. Please don't hesitate to reach out to me with any questions or comments. I would like to highlight one very quick item. How many people remember Dutch Dialogues from 10 years ago? Was anybody there? Right? Well, it's a lot of people in the audience there, but the 10-year anniversary happened on November the 5th. Can you believe it's been 10 years since Dutch Dialogues? Time flies, but from November 5th to 7th in downtown Norfolk, Dutch Dialogues, 150 people convened to celebrate the 10-year anniversary, but to look at the last 10 years and the tremendous progress that has been made around resiliency in our region since that time. So our staff was really involved in a really exciting and satisfying event. But Mr. Chairman, that is all I have for that item.
All right, thank you. And on to item 7, which is the consent agenda. There are items on the consent agenda that were in your meeting package, and Mr. Crum has one item that he needs to explain a change in the consent agenda before we take action.
Right. As we approved when we modified the agenda, we're recommending approval of the consent agenda, removing item 7, B as in Bob, 1. If we remove that item, Mr. Chairman, I would ask the commission's approval of consent agenda with that one item being removed.
Okay. All right. So I need a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda with one item removed.
Motion to approve, Bobby Dyer.
Second that motion, Ella Ward.
All right. Motion is second. Is there any further discussion on the consent agenda? There being none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right. Opposed, nay. All right. Consent agenda is approved with the one modification. On to item 8 on the agenda, we have to approve the appointment of a nominating committee, and the list of members of the nominating committee were included in your board package. So with that, I will ask for a motion to approve the nominating committee.
Motion for approval, Hippel.
Second, Pons.
Okay, we have a motion from Hippel and a second from Commissioner Pons. Any further discussion on the nominating committee? There being none, all in favor say aye. Any opposed, nay. All right, the nominating committee is approved. All right, so on to item 9, which is fiscal infrastructure framework for Hampton Roads, and Mr. Crum, Executive Director, is going to present this item.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Before I begin my presentation, I'd just like to make one quick announcement. Someone left a brown purse in the lunch area. If that may be yours, Kelly Arledge, please see Kelly raising her hand there. She has your purse, and we want to be certain that we find the owner. So thank you, Kelly, for taking care of that. So, Mr. Chairman and Commission members, before you today to discuss our agenda item called the Fiscal Infrastructure Framework for Hampton Roads. This agenda item is outgrowth from our last commission meeting last month, where we had a discussion on our regional legislative agenda. Happy to come to you today. The HRTPO board had this same presentation and discussion earlier this morning, and looking forward to having the discussion with our HRPDC this afternoon. Okay, got it. All right, so some background information. At our October meetings, both the HRTPO and this HRPDC, you approved your regional legislative agenda for the upcoming General Assembly session. During these deliberations on the regional legislative agenda, you all noted that the HRTPO board has requested that the Virginia General Assembly establish a primary secondary road fund. Now, we had a lot of conversation about that here at the commission last month. The one item that we really stressed, though, is that when the TPO board requested that the General Assembly create the primary and secondary road fund, they stopped short of identifying how that fund should be resourced. We've had a lot of conversation around a regional sales and use tax and using that as the mechanism to fund that the primary and secondary road fund, but we heard from many of you about the broad needs you have for infrastructure investment across different topic areas across your communities. So want to stress, as approved, your regional legislative agenda asks for creation of primary secondary road fund, but does not specify how it is to be funded. Now, here's what we heard from you last month, though. In Virginia Beach, I want to thank you. You brought forward and initiated these discussions with the letter that you shared at last month's meeting. And we had an awful lot of conversation at the commission last month about what your other funding needs are. And I think you all agreed. You all have primary and secondary road needs. And our long-range transportation plan identifies those in every single one of our 17 local governments. But as you all have expressed, you also have funding needs in flood prevention. In the city of Virginia Beach, you are looking at significant and costly infrastructure projects to be able to prevent flooding that will impact your residents and impact your economy. In the city of Norfolk, obviously your Army Corps study is complete, but just to unlock the federal money that you need to bring for some of your projects, you need a $900 million non-federal share. And Mr. Roberts, I'm guessing that's not sitting around in your budget at the moment. But these needs are going to be replicated all across the region as other parts of our region completes these studies. We've heard about your school construction and modernization needs, and some of you are dealing with challenges that are forcing you to close some of your schools to address it. Toll relief we've talked about, and how we have issues that we need to mitigate with toll relief, and yet other people have talked about the need to invest in public transportation. Earlier today, we heard that very comment from a resident that addressed the HRTPO board. So I prepared the regional fiscal infrastructure framework white paper that was provided to you all last week. It is incorporated in your HRPDC agenda. I took that to your Chief Administrative Officers Committee at their meeting that we held up here in Hampton last month. Your Chief Administrative Officer Committee, which are your city managers and county administrators, recommended this fiscal framework forward for your consideration today. As I noted, these funding, these infrastructure challenges are very significant for you. But one of the things that the CAOs really talked about at great length is the current environment that you're operating within. And that environment being the current taxing structure in the Commonwealth of Virginia is really providing you very narrow opportunities to generate revenue. And in fact, some of the things that you're dealing with the current taxing structure, and in particular, state-approved tax exemptions, are really causing dramatic impacts for your local governmental budgets. You know, in Hampton Roads, you all have stepped forward and you've all done an additional set of taxes that have been used to support over $5 billion of interstate transportation improvements. But that's all been done by your residents and your businesses. It's been an extra set of taxes. When you look at where your revenues come from, as you all know, you do not get any income tax. You don't collect any income tax that come to your local budgets. Your primary sources are real estate and sales and use tax. And that's very narrow in terms of the levers you can pull to generate any additional income. But another item that the CAOs really talked about a lot are just the dramatic impacts of these state tax exemptions. Some of these state tax exemptions, which have been approved as constitutional amendments, are really hitting your local revenues. In Virginia Beach, Mr. Dehaney, I believe that number is about $50 million annually that you're losing to state tax exemptions. Mr. Price, I believe in the city of Chesapeake, you're just shy of $30 million of an impact. And Mr. Wheeler, you had talked about how when you remove the state tax exemptions from your revenue sources, you have a very thin margin of any leftover money to do infrastructure projects or even to put into reserves. And what our CAOs talked about is these are not future unfunded mandates. These are mandates that are unfunded and they are here and now. And the CAOs really think it is time for the region to step up and ask the General Assembly for some assistance. Now, to be clear, some of those tax exemptions, particularly around veterans exemptions, we understand and the CAOs are saying we respect that and we understand their importance. But they really feel that the time has come for a serious conversation with our General Assembly members to see if some money can come back to the local governments to help you with the dramatic impacts of the state tax exemptions. So a potential path forward to consider by the HRPDC today. Number one, the HRTPO reaffirmed its support this morning to create the primary and secondary road fund. Not going to say how it should be funded, not talking about the regional sales tax, but just a request to create the primary and secondary road fund that's already in your regional legislative agenda. Secondly, at last month's commission meeting, you directed me to start engaging with the Virginia Crescent PDCs. So I am currently working with the PDCs from Northern Virginia, from Fredericksburg, from Richmond, from Petersburg, of course, Hampton Roads in the Middle Peninsula. And we are working to see if we can bring together a coalition of all of those population centers to go to the General Assembly together, asking for assistance on dealing with these state tax exemptions. And I'm very pleased the initial conversations have been that they are all in. In fact, when I sent out an email one evening, I think I heard from all of them within 45 minutes. So these are the same issues for all of the other portions of our Commonwealth. Number three, and I call this the Mr. Grutendorf's amendment, but Greg will tell you that looking at General Assembly modernization of our current state tax system has been a conversation that's gone on for well over 2 to 3 decades. And really, this may be the opportunity. You're not going to get this done this session, but just making a statement collectively as a region that we need to look at that current tax system and consider modernization will be important. And of course, that's going to be important if we want a forward-thinking approach to infrastructure funding. Mr. Chairman, I'm going to leave this on the screen because this will represent the potential action by the commission today. I did, however, want to bring to your attention some correspondence that we just received in the overnight hours. At everybody's place, and for those of you who are at the TPO, you have yours from this morning. Those who are new to the PDC, you will find correspondence from Delegate Benita Anthony that was sent to us overnight. Delegate Anthony took a look at the fiscal framework in our agenda. She has prepared a potential House joint resolution that would attempt to set up this fiscal infrastructure funding framework for the Hampton Roads region. I can tell you that with Mr. Hippel, who chairs the TPO, under his leadership this morning, The TPO board took two actions. And Mr. Chair of the commission, I might suggest it'd be appropriate for the commission to mirror that. Number one, they took action to approve this pathway forward, and that vote was unanimous. And then secondly, since we just received the House Joint Resolution information a few hours ago, the TPO took action to forward this information onto your Chief Administrative Officer Committee. That's your city managers and your county administrators, with a request that they study and evaluate this, and that they come back to you all in January with a recommendation on this joint House resolution. And Mr. Chairman, if I may, point of privilege, if I may ask your vice chair of your chief administrative officers, Ms. Bunning could not be in attendance today to a schedule conflict, but Mr. Price is here and could speak to the willingness of the CAO committee to take on that task.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Price.
Yeah, we've talked about this a little bit before, and we've had a chance to recognize what a big priority this is for the region. Recognizing that you all don't have a lot of time to digest that correspondence, but how important it is. We, the CAOs, will expedite a conversation to be able to get this body and the HRTPO recommendations on the path forward.
So, Mr. Chairman, I'll turn it back to you for conversation and discussion by the commission. If the commission desires, this could be a potential first motion. And then we can, if appropriate, take on this second motion as needed.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Crum, for the presentation. Because I'll tell you, I'll just speak specifically for Hampton. For example, we rely very heavily on real estate tax, and we're trying to maintain our real estate tax rate at a level to keep our community affordable. But yet at the same time, we have, so much of that tax revenue is exempt because of the state exemption for disabled veterans. And we love veterans in our community. They're a big part of our community, and we appreciate what they do. But the tax exemption, that we have to absorb, in Hampton is above $10 million now. I mean, it's substantially grown over, the last several years. And I think about also, we've seen, kind of the proliferation of vape shops in our community, so much so that we're now looking at communities regulating vape shops because we have, more people who are doing, using vape and vape products as opposed to cigarettes. We tax cigarettes, but we can't tax the vape products. So, so I think, those kinds of changes now, in communities and how they're impacting our revenue generation to fund our, different things that we have in our community. So it's very important, I think, that we do something like looking at a modernization of the tax structure and see how localities can benefit from that. But anyway, that's just my thought. Other questions or comments from commissioners? Okay, so there being none, then the next step is to ask for a motion and a second to approve requesting the assistance of the Virginia General Assembly to undertake a comprehensive review and modernization of the state's tax system, including assistance to address significant impact that existing state tax exemptions are having on local government budgets and the ability of local governments to fund essential infrastructure and government service. So we need a motion and a second for this first item.
So moved.
So who made the motion?
Dr. Ross Hammond.
Dr. Ross Hammond. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, additional discussion. All right, there being none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed, nay? All right, the motion carries. All right, and then the second motion is that we refer the House Joint Resolution introduced by Delegate Glass to our CAO group to meet and discuss.
Delegate Anthony.
I'm sorry, Delegate Anthony, my mistake. And that we ask our CAOs, as Mr. Price has explained, to look at that, and then they'll come back with the recommendation. So is there a motion and a second for that item? Okay, we have a motion, Mr. Pons.
Hippel second.
Hippel second. Is there any further discussion? All right, there being none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. All right, the motion carries.
Thank you very much.
For that.
So I'm going to invite Ms. Nancy Gurdon to come on up, who will be our next presenter. I think everybody knows Nancy. She needs no introduction in the Hampton Roads region, but obviously the Executive Roundtable, key work supporting Go Virginia Region 5, and she's going to talk about the Growth and Diversification Plan today.
Great. Thank you and welcome.
Thank you, and hear me good? Okay. Thank you. I appreciate the invitation here today and to really work with you and let you know a little bit about what we've been doing with our Region 5 Growth and Diversification Plan. Maybe just to step back, a couple of basic pieces of information. The Hampton Roads Executive Roundtable, we serve as a support organization for Region 5, and it's a really wonderful opportunity to give us the opportunity to both look at strategy for the region, but to have some state dollars that we can really channel and make sure it's supporting key industries. The other thing I simply have to say to every one of you, one of the key elements of growth of Go Virginia is all around fostering cooperation among cities. And I really could probably go around the room and name every city, county, city, municipality here today who's either applied for Go Virginia, has served as match money, has written letters of support, and has been a key partner. So we really, truly appreciate all of that work. I'd like to take just a couple minutes to talk about the Growth and Diversification Plan. Basically, a couple things. First of all, by legislation, all 9 regions have to update their plan every 2 years. And this particular year, we did a couple things differently to make sure that we were really aligning the plan with the activities and initiatives that need to take place. So we specifically reached out to the Hampton Roads Planning District Commission and the Hampton Roads Alliance to really help us craft the work and the analysis. We also relied on the ODU Draga Center for Economic Analysis and Policy for the data, but we really wanted to make sure that we were taking the planning information, all of the alignment, all the work that the HRPDC does on strategic plans, SEDS, and other work, and also the Alliance with all their business expansion and attraction. So a big thank you to Nikki Johnson for the Hampton Roads Planning District Commission and Michael Evans from the Alliance, who really were incredible young people to work with to make this happen. So with that, there is a link in your material, so I'm not going to go through a lot of the facts and figures and background, but I am going to focus on 2 things: the key industries that we have identified, and then some of the key initiatives. So first of all, the key industries. The good news is we do this plan every 2 years. And so we have not had any brand new industries sort of crop up all of a sudden. And that's actually really important news for all of us, because what it's saying is we have some key industries here that over time, number 1, have been important, and number 2, are going to be particularly important ahead as we think about how to build more innovation and growth, and as we think about some of the national and international priorities. So you can do a quick look. Again, these are not in any particular order of importance, but they heavily revolve around advanced manufacturing, cyber, defense, shipbuilding, ship repair, life sciences, uncruisism, and of course, water technologies. And there's quite a lot of data behind each of these things, but fundamentally what we're saying here is, first of all, we have a density of companies and employment, a location quotient that really sets us apart as a region that we really need to lean into. And these are growth areas for the country. And certainly as you look ahead, this is going to be an area for us to leverage in every single city and county here in Region 5. Whoops. No, too far. There we go. So the most important thing is, what does that mean? And the whole reason we do the plan is so that it will give us a framework to do 2 things. One is to make Go Virginia funding decisions. And the other is to align more broadly with initiatives that are happening overall, not just in Hampton Roads, but in the Commonwealth of Virginia. So I do want to call out a couple in particular here that are really, really critical to implementing our growth and diversification plan. The first one is the Hampton Roads Regional Investment Playbook. As many of you know, the Hampton Roads Alliance has been leading that effort, had a major announcement about a month ago that's really looking at how do we as a region look at all of the national and international trends and think about the array of assets and opportunities that are here and really leverage them for growth. And as Doug Smith would often say, this is our moment, but it's not just about the Alliance saying that, it's really about the region thinking about these assets. The second one is a major initiative we have, again, Hampton Roads Regional, all around federal funding opportunities. With the new administration, we had 7 organizations at the regional level look for federal funding opportunities as well as mitigating risks. And once again, a lot of these funding opportunities align with those key industries. So maritime, uncrewed systems, cybersecurity, and so you will see more work ahead to identify some federal opportunities that can really continue to build those industries. The third one you just heard about, Start in Hampton Roads from Lauren Roberts Carter at the Chamber. This is truly a regional initiative. Our group started some of the analysis over a year ago with the Workforce Council. We learned that why people want to leave or why they want to stay in Hampton Roads. We've been able to take that information, get this pilot going. And I will tell you, there is some amazing information and people who want to be here and want to live here that we as a region need to leverage. And then last but not least, 757 Defend. This is a very unique opportunity with 757 Accelerate, our innovation ecosystem here at Hampton Roads, is partnering with the Mid-Atlantic Tech Bridge to really do a defense accelerator for dual-use technology. So I mention those because those are some very specific things that really align with the industry clusters, Go Virginia money, and also opportunities ahead. So just a little, maybe sales, a little advertising here if I could. The 4 areas, site development, we do some site development, as does VEDP with Go Virginia money. Workforce and talent, cluster scale up, growing industries and entrepreneurship. These are the areas that we find, and certainly the organizations who are around this table can apply, can be supportive. And again, if you have any questions or even want to consider these things, we certainly encourage you to go on our website, but feel free to reach out to me at any time for any further information. And then the final thing I will say is, again, just to point out, this was the Hampton Roads Playbook. Again, a lot of the alignment of the initiatives. And on the next slide, you will actually see how the, there you go. You can see how the industries, specifically out of the Growth and Diversification Plan, align with the, we picked out 4: deal, workforce, innovation, and the others. So again, plans are not to sit on shelves and sit on empty websites. They're really here to guide our investments across the region. So with that, I will stop, and I am happy to take any questions that you might have about the program or Go Virginia.
Okay, thank you for that. Questions for Ms. Gurdy?
Good afternoon, Worth Remick, Virginia Beach. I just want to make a plug for the Playbook. Hampton Roads Alliance, I think it did a great job. It does play to all of our strengths as a region. We have so many assets here. And so as much as we want to diversify as a region, we all have these strengths that we need to play to. So thank you.
Absolutely. And one other thing I will add to that, again, there are 9 regions across the Commonwealth of Virginia. And what's really unique about Region 5 is the fact that we have identified these industries, we have leaned into them, and we have a way to actually attack it. So it is fairly unique, and I'm really proud to say that for Region 5. Yeah, thank you for that.
Any other questions or comments for Ms. Gurdy? All right, great. Thank you for the presentation.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Okay, so on to the the remaining items on the agenda, upcoming meetings. Our next meeting will be January 15th, and that will be our annual meeting, and we will be back at home in the regional conference room in Chesapeake. Item 12 on the agenda, which was included in your packet, are the minutes from the Community Advisory Committee meeting, and that was the last meeting. And then there are also meeting minutes and summaries from the Technical Committee meeting. And is there any old business? Is there any new business? Okay, well, there being none, I would like to just remind everyone that Hampton will host our State of the City address on December 3rd at the Hampton Roads Convention Center, presented by the Peninsula Chamber of Commerce. Mr. Bob McKenna, are you still there? Just wave your hand. And so I hope you come out and join us as we let you know how Hampton's going to level up for the next year. So with that, we are adjourned.